Hey guys. All right, so let's look at some different ways that we can solve some problems that involve the geometric mean. When we're looking at a picture on the right, we're looking at a larger triangle, triangle ABC, and then we have two other triangles that are going to be, they're going to have a similar relationship with the original larger triangle. So you have a total of 3 triangles. We have a small, a medium, and a large. And I'm just going to make the large triangle the original triangle that we have here. So we're going to have 3 total pictures that we can look at to help us set up that question on the right. First, what I want to do is solve the question on the left, so you can see what it looks like whenever we have already set up our proportion and we want to solve for x, because we've solved questions similar to this before, and we'll review that and then we'll answer the question with the triangle. So here, when I'm solving for x, I'm going to cross multiply. So what I'm doing is I'm multiplying x times x, and I'm saying that that's equivalent to what I get whenever I multiply 14 times 8. So x times x, I can simplify that expression by writing it to the second power. 14 times 8 is going to be 112. So if I want to isolate and solve for just one x, I would take the square root on both sides. Since I'm solving an equation, what I do to one side, I want to do to the other side as well. So that's going to be x is equal to the square root of 112. Now, if I wanted to simplify this radical, what I would start doing is I would list the factors that we have for 112. So for example, 112 is the same as 7 times 16. Let me check that. Actually, what I would first probably see, since it's an even number, is that I'm multiplying the square root of 2 times the square root of 56, right? And then 56 could be broken down into the square root of 8 and the square root of 7. And then the square root of 8 could be the square root of 2 and the square root of 4. And I ran out of space there, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite that. Let me do that at the top right here. So I just wrote the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 times the square root of 4 times the square root of 7. If you're wondering where did the square root of 8 go, I broke that up into the square root of 2 times the square root of 4. So the square root of 2 multiplied by itself is going to cancel that square root symbol, so we're doing the opposite. So if you square a square root, it just gives you the number that's underneath the radical sign. So this is 2. The square root of 4 is 2, and then I'm going to leave the square root of 7 by itself because I can't simplify that any further. And these are all being multiplied together, so 2 times 2 is 4. So that's giving me 4 times the square root of 7. All right, that's how I would simplify my answer on the first one. And let me divide this a little bit better, maybe just using this black line to section off my 2 questions. Okay, so for the second triangle, or for the second question, looking at the triangle, I explained how we're going to break it up into a small, medium, and large. So my small is going to be, and I'm going to draw them in the same sort of, the same orientation as the large triangle that you see. So my small and my medium, I'm going to draw it in the same orientation where my 90-degree angle is right here. Okay. So what I would have is my X is right here, and then AD is going to correspond with AB on the larger. So that's going to put my 2.2 right here. .2. And then on my medium triangle, I'm saying it's my medium because you should be able to see a total of 3 triangles when you're looking at triangle ABC. We have triangle ADB. We also have triangle BDC. So then we have BDC. So I want to redraw that so that it's matching up correctly. So this would be my X right here at the top, and then my side length of 5 would go right there. Now, whenever I am looking to set up I'm setting up the sides by looking at the corresponding sides on my triangle. So for example, this side corresponds with this side, corresponds with this side on my larger triangle, and I'm going to highlight in yellow the other sides that I have. So this side corresponds with this side, corresponds with this side. Okay, so when I'm looking at that, now what I would do is I would set up two equivalent ratios like we saw on the left. 8 over x is equal to x over 14. So whenever I'm setting up my equivalent ratios, I'm matching up the corresponding sides. So for example, on the small triangle, I have 2.2 and I have x. On the medium triangle, since I put 2.2 in my numerator, I want that to correspond to the x on my medium triangle. Since they're both in green, they're corresponding sides. And then my x on the small, the yellow on the small, would correspond to the yellow on the medium, which gives me 5. So if you notice, the way that I set up my proportion here, it looks very similar to my original question that I already solved, that 8 over x is equal to x over 14. It looks very similar because when I go through the process of solving for x, I'm again getting to the spot where I have x squared is equal to 5 times 2.2. So I'm not going to go through the entire process of solving for x here, but I will tell you that if you're using a calculator and then you take the square root, you're going to end up rounding since we have the decimal here. So yeah, I hope that that was helpful and maybe helps you understand geometric mean a little bit better. Have a great day.